Hey dudes, what is up? Ncaa 31 here, bringing you on this Championship Sunday a game of Ncaa. I'll be firing up some Madden a little bit later on. Just finished watching Green Bay just completely and utterly collapse against Seattle. Now watching Colts and the Pats, and it's looking bleak early. Pats are up 14 nothing. I suspect this is going to be a runaway. Colts aren't quite ready. And I'm playing a game here in my offline dynasty. Something's been going on with my offline dynasty games that I've been recording. They've been having trouble rendering, not really rendering to my Elgato, but I guess formatting. But this is the first game that actually, formatted right and allowed me to, edit, the entire game. Strange. But anyhow, you saw the record of Georgia Tech. I'm 7-3. I'm entrenched in third place in the ACC Coastal. I'm playing as Old Dominion, so this should be a stats game here. As you know, Old Dominion is not that good. And I'll go into commentary on what's going on in the Dynasty, my players, my stats, the rankings, Heisman Trophy race, recruiting, and all that good stuff in subsequent videos. This one I kind of just want to talk about a little bit of what's going on in the college football world, as the BCS championship game was played a week ago now. And Ohio State wins the national title. Urban Meyer gets his third championship. We learned that Cardale Jones will be going back to Columbus, Ohio, a decision that surprised me personally. I thought that he would strike while the iron is hot and while his profile is at its highest point and go to the NFL, but he elects to go back to college. We don't know what condition Braxton Miller is going to be in, whether he's going to even be at Ohio State. There's been rumors of him being linked to transfer to other programs. We don't know how healthy he's going to be going into spring football, as well as Barrett. We don't know how healthy he's going to be. So there's a pretty good chance that Cardale Jones may be the only quarterback on the roster that's equipped to get meaningful snaps in the spring. If it was me, I'd come out. I'd take the bird in the hand. But, I'm rooting for the kid either way. Seems like a good guy. And it's a good story. I hope he makes it either way. Wow, Patch threw an INT, so Indy has the ball. Have a chance to get a little something going, get some life to this game, and not get run out of the building. They definitely need something, and they need something, pretty soon. Hope they don't waste the opportunity. I don't want this game to be over by halftime. And man, again, if you're a Green Bay Packer, you must be in the mood to vomit right about now. But more on that later on. Wow, great throw by Luck. Luck's about 2 years away from being the best player in the league. And I keep on getting distracted by the NFL and not paying attention to what I'm talking about. The next or the next thing that I was on my mind in the aftermath of the BCS, geez, what am I thinking about? The college football national championship is with Herb now on his third title. How does he stack up historically already, and how does he stack up against Sabes? Sabes and Herb are going to be compared to each other for quite some time, as they're the two guys that are at the top of the game as far as coaches go. Herb is already on an all-time level, in my opinion, and so is Saban. I mean, Urban Meyer has won at every level of college football he's been at, you know, from Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, now to Ohio State. He's gonna, and I'm kicking myself as well for Notre Dame not, you know, striking when they could have. But as long as he stays at Ohio State, he's going to win a ton of games because the man can recruit. He's arguably the best recruiter there is, and he can just flat out coach his tail off. He's a little bit different than Saban. I actually think Urban Meyer is the better game day coach. I think he's a little bit more hands-on in that regard. I think he's more involved in all phases of the game. Offense, he coaches special teams himself. I think he is also more involved offensively than Saban is with his spread system. He's able to, morph that spread offense into pretty much whatever it needs to be. He has some staples that he likes. and have always been there, and some that he's added over the years. But I think he does an excellent job of pretty much adapting the offense to his quarterback. The offense looks different from the Alex Smith days. I think in his Utah days, it was more of a finesse style and pretty much stayed that way until he put Tebow into the mix, or he had Tebow in the mix. And with Braxton Miller, it was different again. It was almost like a single wing at times. And whenever Braxton Miller went down and Guyton had to play, they throw the ball all over the place. And with Barrett, I think he has a perfect meshing of both. He can air it out and throw it. Barrett threw for 34 touchdown passes, and he's got a terrific back in Ezekiel Elliott. I think you're going to be seeing more running out of the back and less from the QB, which may save whoever's quarterback from injury. And then when Cardale Jones was there, Cardale at times looked like Tebow running the ball. So he does a really good job of adapting his personnel, where I think, in contrast, Oregon's a slave to their system. And their system revolves around the inside and outside zone read. You shut down the inside zone especially, the entire system begins to crumble, and they have nothing to fall back or branch out from. And that's why I think when Oregon does have those 1 or 2 games a year when they're struggling, but not a lot of people are equipped to stop it. But when they do run into a team like that, they stay struggling. They don't ever adjust. They can only play one way. While Herb's system, and also Gus, and also Rich Rod now. Rich Rod's evolved as well from his roots. They have the ability to adapt as, their personnel changes and as the game changes. Saban is also an all-time great coach, but he's a little bit different than Herb. Saban is more of a Belichick type. He's a CEO type. He's anal retentive. He's super meticulous, especially with his DBs. He often coaches the DBs himself, but he also delegates a lot more to his coordinators, Kirby Smart and right now Lane Kiffin. He gives them some pretty decent freedom. He gives them the freedom to call the game, and if things get squirrely, or if he wants something done a certain way, he's got no problem getting into the Lane's ear and say, "Hey, dude, run the damn ball." So while I think Herb is more of a sideline guy and is better on the sideline, Saban is more of that overseer. And neither style is better than the other. Both styles have obviously won a lot of games and multiple championships, and they're both really good at getting really good players. And lastly, with Marcus Mariota making it official and declaring for the NFL draft, we're going to have months of Winston Mariota comparisons. Who's going to go number one? Who's the better pro prospect? Yada yada yada. Personally, I don't like either one of them. I think both have serious bust potential. Mariota more so than Winston. I hate the term system quarterback because every quarterback in college is a system quarterback. A coach isn't going to recruit a guy who he feels does not fit what he runs. And this goes without saying. I see Mariota and I see Colin Kaepernick, pretty much. Now, obviously, you can win with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick has gotten into multiple NFC title games, and he's, he was a possession away from winning a Super Bowl. But I feel like you have to build your team a certain way to get the most out of what he brings to the table. If Mariota goes to, let's say, Philly trades up and, drafts him, he'll be great. If he goes to a team that wants to develop a strong running play action pass type system, I think he'll do well. If he goes to a team that wants to swing the ball around like the Saints, he could be out of the league or career backup within 3 to 4 years. It's going to be all about fit with him. I don't believe that Winston has those limitations. I think Winston physically can play in any system. He just looks and plays like a pro-style quarterback. Although I sometimes wonder where the hell his head is at. He does some really, really strange stuff with the ball at times. He committed a boatload of turnovers this year. He shows a tendency to bail out on his throws when under pressure. He did that especially in the Notre Dame game repeatedly, where he would just go on his back foot and put the ball up for grabs. Can that be coached out of him? Possibly, probably. Those are fixable things. But as far as measurables go, he's got them all. As far as, physical, throwing talent. I just wonder about him because he shows some pretty darn good football IQ at times, but other times he does some really oddball, boneheaded stuff. And on top of that, you also got to wonder if the guy's a sociopath or not. There's that too. NFL GMs, they're going to be raking him over the coals, during the whole pre-draft process, leaving no stone uncovered, trying to find out what in the world is in that guy's head. The other QBs in the draft aren't really worth talking about. Brett Hundley. Brett Hundley sucks. Go away. I've seen enough of him and his tank jobs. The Baylor kid, who knows? For all intents and purposes, it's a two quarterback draft, and it's buyer beware, in my opinion, with both of them. I think they're both boom or bust guys to the extreme. They're either going to be all pros or they're going to be washouts and career backups. I don't see either one of these guys settling into a middle of the road Andy Dalton type of career where he's good enough to win you anywhere between 8 to 10 games. They're either going to make whoever drafts them and develops them look great, or they're going to get some guys fired. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope you guys are enjoying the playoff games, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Talk to y'all later. Peace.